Hello and welcome, I am TV Hub Official 1, and this is Red Dwarf Episode 4 of Season 1 Confidence and Paranoia review. After the typical Series 1 opening and our Red SOS distress call with a joke, we get to our first scene. Lister, who drinks and eats while watching a film. He is watching and is very emotional about it. While watching, he cries and spits the drink out. Holly, on the intercom, announces that he has read all books ever written and is bored. Holly asks Lister to erase some of his memory bank so that he can read another one again. And we get into the joke. In bed, Lister is interrupted while watching the movie. Rimmer comes over, having all his tasks done as he said so, and being such a productive person, and telling Lister how sad he is, and that he's done nothing, and he's just a slob, and he's not done anything his whole life. Rimmer tells Lister that the offices block have not been decontaminated yet, but Lister says that he went down to the photo to go to Kochanski's down in the offices block, and looking at Kochanski's dreams, and Rimmer doesn't really understand Lister properly, like Lister, as they explain after this. They finally go to bed in their bunks, and Lister wakes up in the middle of the early morning, feeling very ill and collapses while going to the medical unit. Cat makes his entrance in the show and appears walking down the corridor, only thinking about himself and passing Lister and spraying him for good measure. Cat arrives in the eating area and starts eating food, while Rimmer comes along and begs him to go get Lister with him, as he's just collapsed. But, it's Cat, and he doesn't care at all. In the bay, the Scudders are helping to take readings, as Rimmer makes them do it, and Lister's complaining about this. Lister feels that he should go off and out with Kochanski for one night, and he thinks that stranger things have happened before. Rimmer lists two things that were stranger, and this is the combustion of the mayor of Warsaw and the raining of fish, of herring. So there were the two bits of weirdness. Lister now imagines two sides to him that would make him want to go out with Kochanski: his confidence and his paranoia, which would have affected his relationship with Kochanski, with his confidence making him happy, strong, able to do more things, just be a better person in his eyes, while paranoia would hold him back, would make him feel bad about himself, and the opposite completely, and would stop him going out with Kochanski. Rimmer thinks that Lister is a lunatic, until, back in the quarters, when Lister actually imagines it raining herring, and it does so in real life. The reaction that Rimmer has is priceless. Next, Rimmer walks outside onto the corridor, and the mayor of Warsaw arrives and explodes. Cat arrives in Lister's quarters and gives Lister a crappy present, and tries to go to sleep before Rimmer arrives, and tells Lister that his hallucinations were solid, as the pneumonia Lister got was mutated when he went down to the area, the office blocks. Then Lister hallucinated his confidence and paranoia, which they meet in the drive room. Both played brilliantly. Rimmer thinks he should arrest them, and until confidence and paranoia are gone, Lister won't be better, which is sort of true with Rimmer. Lister sides with confidence, and paranoia sides with Rimmer for now. Back in their quarters, Lister bonds with confidence. Confidence telling Lister how much he likes Lister, and they talk about living on Fiji with Kochanski, and Lister can do anything in the eyes of Confidence, who says that as a lowest ranking member of the ship, he did not care about this place, and his life was in Fiji with Kochanski, who they wanted to bring back and find a way to do so. Paranoia then tells Rimmer that he hates Lister, and Rimmer can't even cope with Paranoia after how much hatred he shows for Lister. And then we get a Scudder joke where Rimmer tries to kill this Paranoia. Lister comes up with the idea of turning off all unnecessary power sources to bring back Kochanski, along with Confidence, who came up with the idea as well. Lister and Confidence then come up with the idea that Rimmer must have hid Kochanski's discs outside their sleeping quarters for a hologram, and decide that if they turn off enough of energy sources, they would be able to bring Kochanski back. So after the dust storm subsided, Lister and Confidence want to go outside. Rimmer, for once, had the good idea of Lister trying to get better by getting rid of Confidence and Paranoia. Confidence had killed Paranoia and smashed up the Medicom. Outside, Lister realises what Confidence did and feels shocked. "Oxygen's for losers," says Confidence, who takes off his helmet and explodes into obliterate. Back in their quarters, Cat does his laundry by licking the clothes, and Rimmer says that this was right. He was right all along, and that this would bring back Lister misery. But in the drive room, when Holly switches on hologram, Rimmer is one step ahead and Lister finds that what he has is projection of Rimmer, a second Rimmer. And obviously, Cat and Lister are horrified, with Rimmer feeling so smug. And because my review is just done there of the episode, this is a bit of background. So this is the 5th episode from Series 1 of the science fiction sitcom Red Dwarf. It was first broadcast on British television channel BBC 2 on 14th of March 1988. The plot involves Lister's mutated pneumonia, which manifests as solid hallucinations. It was written by Rob Grant and Doug Nedler and directed by Ed Bye. Lee Corns plays Paranoia and Craig Ferguson plays Confidence. So how I perceive this episode is that it had strong parts and had a good idea. It was making itself up, but we could see that the writers were beginning to struggle for ideas for the show. This one was quite an interesting one, and I think intriguing to watch. So we get quite an interesting look at the life of Lister's psyche. Lister possessing a Confidence and Paranoia, and I don't know, interesting enough to see that. This is the first episode we get to see proper side characters that they bring in. Besides, say, the cat, the really old cat. We could just say this is the first time we get to see proper roles for these characters. And as I said earlier on, the actors who portray them are pretty brilliant and fun to watch. And especially Craig Ferguson, who portrays a pretty confident guy indeed. And what's his name? Lee Corns, who plays Paranoia, is good as well. And I think it's funny to see how Lister and Rimmer react to these two people. Rimmer in this episode was quite clever, and I actually liked Rimmer in this episode for once. Although at the end he just went back to his old ways, but from most of the episode he pretty much was actually being more sensible than Lister, but in an actual good way that affected the story. Holly in this episode didn't do much. He just read a book really throughout the whole episode, not really helping in any way, telling them the dust storm was over. And Cat in this episode was meh. Didn't do much. Quite just showing his catty ways from Series 1, the sort of way he reacted to other characters' perils and tribulations. All in all, this episode made me laugh quite a lot. I thought it was quite humorous, and it entertains the show with these two characters that they have to bring in, because getting just your main characters, Rimmer and Lister, arguing with each other, hating each other, alongside Cat, who appears out of nowhere with a funny line or two, then disappears, and a robot Holly who just tells them about stuff. It doesn't, like, you can't get much out of a story like that, and the writers were beginning to figure this out and thinking, well, we've got to expand on the show. And they couldn't do much in series 1, but this is about the height of what they could do. And now you can see at the end of the episode where they bring in an extra rimmer was an attempt at expanding the cast a little bit. But we'll get to the me squared next time on the show. And again, Lister in this episode wanting to get Kochanski back in quite a high headlining area in series 1. Not what you would expect. You don't actually see Kochanski at all, really. But Lister is still thinking about her, and the plan is quite an overwhelming story arc in series 1, which sort of, there's hints in every episode of series 1, I think. And Lister always has that mindset of getting Kochanski back. It's always his number one objective in life, now that he's on the Red Dwarf, stranded in space. With Rimmer just being better than Lister, that's really all he thinks about. And Cat's still mysterious to us so far. And Holly, well, Holly's just Holly. Holly is the one that's keeping everyone together, united in Red Dwarf, really. So all in all, Red Dwarf series 1, episode 4, Confidence Paranoia 5, sorry, episode 5, Confidence and Paranoia, possessed good ethics and just good at everything like that as well, and is good on your first watching, and actually for a few after that I quite enjoyed it. But once you break down what you get inside, some jokes can fall a little flat. But actually, for me personally, I thought this was a really good episode, just in terms of working with these characters, and I still think stories were good like these. When you get to see inwards, rather than outwards, they're going to look inside their psyche, and I really enjoy seeing how these people work out and deal with what they're like as people. So all in all, there you go. That's my review of Red Dwarf Series 1, Episode 5, Confidence and Paranoia. I'll see you next time for the finale of Series 1 in Me Squared. So, thank you for watching, and enjoy.